Guys, coming at you with another one tip series today. Today it's on the forehand, and I'm going to give you one tip to simply give you more power on your forehand. So today the tip is, I want you to recognize your racket head when you're turning, okay? Many players when they start out, they don't realize, but they turn straight down and they're losing out on power, and I'll explain to you why. Okay, so if you turn straight down, you only have your arm to generate power. There's no momentum, okay? If you start with your wrist up, you know, there's a lot of ways to talk about it. You can say push against the side fence or push your racket away. Tip of the racket's higher than your wrist. What this does is it gives you automatic momentum, because as you turn, the racket has to drop. Whatever comes up has to go down. So as you get up, when you start swinging, the racket has to drop. And this motion, when the racket drops, that builds momentum, and then that momentum goes into the forehand, which gives you more power. Very simple, basic tip, but that one tip can change your whole forehand. If you don't do that, you go straight down. Notice how there's no momentum. From there, I go straight forward, so I didn't get the benefit out of the drop, okay? So this is the wrong one. Once again, you can get away with it by simply turning up and away. You can throw that momentum into the ball. Notice how the racket drops automatically and then just accelerates into the ball. So that was for power, but by simply doing that, you'll get more topspin as well. That was your one tip for today, one tip series. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, show a friend, comment, let me know what you need help with. And oftentimes there's only one tip that can change your whole game for the better. Thank you. All right, my champions. Today we're going to work on the slice, and we're going to talk about your turn and the wrist. All right, what many players don't realize is when they slice, their wrist is not strong, it's not activated, and I like to call it the cocked up wrist. So instead of just turning like this, you turn up with your knuckles up, and then you'll feel the wrist is almost like cocked up. When you do this, there's like a natural V that comes between your arm and your racket. If you don't do it, this happens, okay? The problem is if you don't have the cocked up wrist, the racket is so loose, so anything can happen. So you could have a good slice, you could also have a slice that goes up in the air, and you could have sometimes a decent one like that, all right? But especially if your slice is not advanced yet and you want to just make sure it's solid, cock up your wrist. What happens is now it's so stable throughout the contact point. And if you watch many pros, it's easier to knife down with your shoulder, but then obviously you're going into another tip, but you're going to knife down. The cocked up wrist just keeps it so strong on contact point. So this is what it will look like. So up and through. Notice how there's even a different sound on the slice. One more. Like that last one, as your confidence grows, you can start leaning into it more and more and more. But for now, next time you slice, try out the cocked up wrist and see how your slice will start falling into place. Appreciate your support. Please don't forget to subscribe, send to a friend. I really enjoy helping you guys. Okay, champions, one tip series once again on the single backhand. Why are you losing out on accuracy and power? One tip that will help you with your accuracy and power. Today, single backhand players, one of the biggest things they do, the mistakes they make, they lose out on power and racket head speed and accuracy because they're not turning. So if I face you right now and I want to hit to you, what happens is they turn only with the arm. Look how I'm still facing forward. So if you do that, you have to slap the ball. You have to slap the ball. So then what happens is there's no timing, there's no power out of your shoulders and your hips. Simply slap. So you can get lucky, you can hit some good shots here and there, but you'll never get the power, racket head speed, accuracy that you want, okay? By simply cocking up your wrist, locking in the arm a little bit, now you are forced to have a big turn, okay? So now my shoulders are turning with the single and the backhand. One of the most important things you can do is turn all the way until your back's facing the net or facing your opponent. It will look like this: big turn and hit, big turn and hit. All right, watch all the best single-handed backhand players. They turn all the way through. Use that one tip, your backhand will be better. So one more wrong one, you're not turning at all, you're slapping, cock up the wrist, almost lock in the arm a little bit, and then you go for a big turn. Another way to look at it is my strings are almost facing the back fence when I turn. Big turn. It's a lot easier to go down the line, and you can change direction if you want as well, and you can get a lot more spin and power by simply having that big turn. That's your one tip series for today. Thank you for watching and subscribing. You guys can simply help me by just subscribing, and then you've done more than enough for me. I'll keep posting free value for you guys. Thanks for watching. Coach Peter over here, coming at you with another one tip series for you. Today the one tip is by simply changing your ball toss on your kick serve, you can get more kick, and not necessarily changing your ball toss, but by waiting. What do I mean by that is a lot of players on the kick serve contact the ball too high, and you can't generate kick from there. A kick serve is when you can go from low to high over the ball. So the ball toss is correct, but they contact it too high, and then they can't brush up, so it will look like this. So you might get it in sometimes, but your contact point's too high. I'll show you one more. Contact point's too high, you're not getting that upwards kick, especially if you want height on your kick. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to just same ball toss, but I'm going to allow the ball to drop lower. When the ball is lower, it's easier for me to contact and go up and over. Okay, same ball toss, but I'm waiting a little bit longer. So now that ball's a lot heavier on that side. One more. So I can even feel the ball on my strings is a lot heavier. Okay. Use that tip for today. If by simply having the same ball toss, allowing it to drop a little bit lower, you're going to get more kick, more height, more jump on your kick serve. Thank you for watching, guys. Remember, you help me more than enough by simply subscribing and showing a friend and commenting. Thank you so much. Okay, my legends, coming at you with my one tip series. Today we're talking about quick recovery on the forehand, and one mistake players make. Okay, many players know that on the wide running forehand, it's important to play open stance, because when you go open stance, it's a lot easier from there to recover and back to the middle. But what players do is they do open stance, they jump up, and then they lose out on the balance and the benefit of recovering quickly, and at the same time they end up missing a lot of balls on the stretch. So they go wide and then they jump up, lose balance, try and recover. Notice I'm jumping up, it takes a lot longer to get back. What I want you to focus on is when you hit that wide forehand, after you hit it, try and feel how you keep the weight on the outside leg. What does that do is there's weight, so you can just push back immediately, also helping you to stay down and to stay compact, to stay balanced. So exact same thing, but I'm hitting the ball, boom. Notice how I keep the weight on the back leg, and then it's so easy to recover. So there, and push back. So you're simply staying down by leaving the weight on the leg, and the benefits go way beyond quick recovery. It's you're keeping your head down, you're staying balanced, you're staying low. Your racket head can do the work because your body is balanced. That simple thing, simple tip will help your forehand on the wide forehand. It will help you to recover quicker, but not just that, it will help your forehand in so many ways. I'll give you one more. Be very careful, don't get there and then pop up. It's a lot slower, less power, less space, slow recovery. Wide, stay down, quick recovery. That's your one tip series for today. Thank you for helping me so much by simply subscribing. See you guys next time. Guys, one tip series today, helping you fix your single backhand in one tip. Losing out on single hand power because of your hip, okay? If you watch all the pros, the biomechanics, the hips are involved when they're coming through, okay? So if your hip, this hip is not coming through, when you contact your single backhand, you're losing out on power, okay? And there's ways to fix that. But what many players do is, notice my hip, the racket goes, it's a decent backhand, but they're losing out on swing, okay? So now there's two ways you can bring your hip through. Many pros on the run, they swing, and then the hip comes through to also push back and balance. Or when the ball comes more straight to you, you don't always have to bring that leg through, although you can, but you can also keep your balance and the hip comes through, but the foot stays behind you, okay? Boom, but the hip must come through. So let me show you the one with the step. So instead of staying stuck, the leg comes through. I personally like this one when I'm looking for power, okay? Or you can simply bring the hip through and the back foot stays behind you. Federer does this sometimes. So there, back foot stays behind you, but the hip still comes through. Let me show you one more time. Instead of feeling like you're stuck, the hip stays there. Okay, you can hit more power, more spin by simply bringing the hip through like that, or you can bring the hip through with simply staying in one spot, but the hip still comes through. Guys, it's crazy, but you can sort out your backhand, single-handed backhand power by simply focusing on your hip. That's one tip. It'll give you more power on your single-handed backhand. Thank you for helping me by subscribing, and thank you for your support.